on a single platform, right, in a 2x2 tile speaker. So it saves a lot of money when one trip up the ladder. We also have the C15 series, which is a group of pendant speakers. What you'll see is when we first introduced audio, I think we had the C3003E horn, right? That was really more audio for security. And what you see today is where we've progressed to. So yes, audio for security is a great place for us to grow and for you to grow. We're also going into audio for operational efficiency as well as audio for safety applications, right? So some of these speakers that you see here may not say, well, how do I do that? How do I use that for audio for security? You can use it for audio security, but it's really designed for operational efficiency, right? So to get back to the slide here, the C15 series, that's basically a pendant speaker, right? You use that for open ceiling applications. The C12 series, that's a new product that we just introduced. That has the integrated backhand, right, which is UL 2043 Platinum rated. We'll get into some of the goes inches and goes outs of these speakers as we go on here. They're available in a 4-inch driver and a 6-inch driver. The 1211 is the larger version. The 1211 is a smaller version, and the 1210 is a larger version. We have the C1410, which is been around for a while. It's got a built-in PIR, the surface mount speaker. We have your traditional two-way cabinets, right? The C1004 and the C1310E, very, very popular horn. We sell thousands of these things on a daily basis. And then we have the new 1610 VE. So the 1610 VE is a nice indoor or outdoor replacement, if you will, for the C1310E if your client doesn't need the high 121 dB rating, and if they want to have a wider, more natural sounding voice announcements, and they want to play music through it. So this C1610 has a wider frequency response. It's much more natural sounding, but you don't have the same dB rating, and it's not focused on just the audio frequencies as you see with the C1310. Now remember, each one of those speakers comes with Edge software, right? So each one of these has actually the intelligence built in, as well as programmable LEDs. It has microphones if you want two-way communications. You've got 2 IOs. There's a lot of different features and functions that are built into these speakers. So in addition to that, I know we've got some great access, other accessories, if you will. 2-end SIP mic, 12 buttons. You can assign any number of speakers to those buttons. We've got the 8110 and the 8210. 8110 replaces the 8033, right, which is the network audio bridge. Only difference there is that the 8110 has an updated processor, right? So think about the 8110 and the 8210 as speakers, but you're not moving air. Brand new to us, actually this last month, is the C8310. That's our in-room volume control, volume up, volume down, mute, and also select up to 3 sources, right? So we've had a lot of questions and a lot of interest from our dealers who basically want to go in and they want to control the volume in a single room or zone. You can do that now with the 8310. When you're putting in the C12 series ceiling speakers, make sure you use the TC1603, right? That is the tile bridge. So that sits on the ceiling grid. Speaker sits on top of that to make sure the speaker doesn't, make sure the tile doesn't sag over time, right? Or if you're in a high moisture environment, that speaker might actually fall through the tile, right? So you want to make sure you use that 1603. In addition to that, if you're in Vegas or you're in the Chicago or any kind of areas where you need to have a full back cover over the speaker, or if you need conduit adapters, you can use the 1702 and 1602. They're available. And the wiring kit for the C15 series, which is the pendant series, that's available, and you also see that as a TC1901. So one of the things that really makes us unique in the marketplace, we talked about some of the hardware, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details because that's not what this is about, hardware. It really is about the software, right? So Access Audio Manager Edge is built in and comes free with all speakers. You also get an ACS license, right? A free ACS license with each speaker. And that allows you really to do, it's for one site, 20 zones, 200 speakers. You're not going to use 20 zones, right, with 200 speakers. You're probably going to use 3 or 4 type zones in a situation like that. But really, it is free. It comes with the speaker. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to use Network Edge, I would say, in probably 60 to 70% of your single site installations. It is for any kind of moderate complexity. You have multiple multiple levels of priority, and you also have weekly scheduling capabilities as well. So keep that in mind. Now, when you start to get involved in some more complex opportunities, you want to look at Pro, right? Pro, again, is single site, 100 zones, 5,000 speakers. So we're seeing Pro being used a lot in education opportunities, manufacturing type projects, things like that, where you have multiple buildings on the same land. So you want to think about Pro when you have larger, more complex opportunities, and that's available either in a server version or it's available in an e-license version. Then from Edge, single site, 200 speakers, Pro, 100 zones, right? Single site, 5,000 speakers. Then you go to Audio Manager Center, which is a cloud-based version, which allows you to really control and manage multiple locations from a single site right through the cloud. So an application, let's say for Center, might be if you've got a retail client and they've got 1,000 locations, let's say located globally, you could actually go in by region, right, and select each one of those locations. And A, make sure that the speakers are up and running. B, you can manage and schedule messaging within those areas, right? Advertising messaging or any kind of safety messages, public service announcements, or you could go in and do any kind of advertising messages as well, like I said. So Centers for larger, more multi-regional, if you will, applications. Pro, single site, multi-facility. Edge, single site, single facility. So, and you know what? One last thing to say is, you know, a lot of the times you're probably sitting there saying, you know what, I don't know anything about audio. I do video, I do access control, I do body worn, I love access. I don't know anything about this audio stuff. You know what? At the end of the day, we have two tools that you can use that are going to help you be successful because we want you to be successful. Number one is Site Designer, right? That's on our website. You're familiar with that when putting video systems together. Now you can drop speakers in Site Designer. You can drop cameras in Site Designer. I think access control, and they maybe use some 2N products. Put that in Site Designer. So again, you're going with a complete solution for your client. The second point is we have the audio design service. So if you have a more complex opportunity out there and, you know, you're just not sure, you're not confident of selling audio, you're not comfortable selling audio to a specific product, contact your local FSC, your local RSM, tell them, you know, I'm not comfortable doing this. We'll put you, we'll send you a site survey form. And basically, you go through that site survey form, complete that. That's going to give us 98% of what we need, and we'll basically design the system for you as a complimentary service because we want to see you be successful. You're successful, we're successful, and our end user gets a better complete day.